Well, hey everybody. I'm excited to be here today, and it is my pleasure to share with you some leadership principles I've learned in the fast food industry. It began in 1983. I'm out of high school, heading to college, and I need a job. But I had standards. I had no intentions of working in the fast food industry. In fact, growing up, my parents would frequently remind me, you better get an education or you're going to spend your life serving fries. How ironic that statement became. So it was an accidental first job for me. I applied and was hired with a company that I had no intention of staying with. I needed a paycheck until I found my real job. And so it's quite happenstance the way that things unfolded for me. Unfortunately, I had very little respect for the job at the time. As I mentioned, I had no intention of staying there, but it turned into a 30-year career. In fact, the way I was treated, the way they did business, infected me. And I actually wanted more of it. So unexpected, so unexpected. But they taught me many things. And I'm going to share a few of them with you today. But treating everyone with honor, dignity, and respect, regardless of their behavior and whether you felt like they deserved it, was foundational. And I quickly learned if I was going to go anywhere with this company, if I wanted to advance or have a leadership position, I was going to have to get my heart right with the program. The company invested heavily in me. I'm just a young guy, who am I? And here they're spending all this money on me. We saw these great guest speakers. We traveled on field trip to visit businesses, amazing training program. Not what I was expecting in a fast food job, not at all. So I'm kind of really proud that this accidental job, which I had no respect for, turned into a 30-year career. So I'd like to share with you just 3 of the principles that I learned from them amongst many others. First of all, keeping your cool. Being able to demonstrate grace under pressure can be very challenging, especially in a fast-paced atmosphere like a restaurant. And the more pressure you're under, the more frustrating things can start to become, the more your patience starts to wear. So staying cool under pressure was vital if I was going to be able to make the customers happy they came in and make them intend to come back. Something that was helpful for me in this area is the second principle I'd like to share with you, and that is every life has a story. The people I was dealing with at the counter, I may have never seen them before. I might never see them again. It's just a brief moment in time. And in this hectic environment, keeping perspective is very helpful. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Perhaps they just received the worst news about a family member, about their health. Maybe their spouse lost their job. So while you're in the heat of things and they're behaving in a manner that might frustrate you or annoy you, testing your patience, just remembering that everybody has a lot of things going on in their life just like you do. I found that very liberating. It helped me to relax and take things in stride and never take it personal when someone was raising their voice at me for something I had nothing to do with. I found that the more I released my ego and humbled myself, the easier it became to stay calm and to keep yourself composed. And that led to me being able to give people grace. That can be so very difficult. In the heat of the moment, you want justice. This just isn't right. How can they say or do this? Like I mentioned, every life has a story. You don't know what's going on in their life. And so the more you're able to give people grace and understanding and demonstrate the right kind of behavior, just the better the outcomes each and every time. So letting my ego go was critical. I also learned that joy cannot be taken from you. It can only be surrendered. And so the more that you can carry your joy within, the more that you can take things in stride, the more you can be sympathetic, empathetic, and understanding to people's circumstances, the less it affects your joy. In fact, it begins to affect it the other way. You may be the only positive little interaction they've had all day long. And so as I tried to apply these principles that the company was teaching me, it really led to a lot of other things that were unexpected. So obviously my professional life, it was having an impact, but it was beginning to impact my personal life as well. And I did not realize that until one day, something my daughter said. So the particular company I worked for trains everyone that when you're told, thank you, by a customer, your response is, my pleasure. Well, I began to notice my daughter responding to anything I would request or whatever with, my pleasure, Daddy. And it dawned on me I hadn't even taught her that. She just picked up on it. It was an indirect outcome of the positive impact I was experiencing working for this company with the general public. And it just makes me very, very pleased to see that unexpected outcome there. I really think everyone should work in the fast food industry, at least briefly, if you can. There are so many ways that you can find dignity and honor in any kind of job, even if you're just serving fries or mopping floors. That job also taught me that leadership is a behavior, not a position I was going for. Staying calm under pressure when things go wrong. Remembering that people have their own stories and their pressures and things going on in their life that could be just horrible. You just don't know. And then taking a moment to just give them grace. That was very impactful to me, very impactful. In my current job, it's different. When I was at the restaurant, I had tremendous control. Who we hired, how many hours they worked, processes, procedures, lots of ways I had control. That fast food job unknowingly prepared me for my current role. I'm in a position where I have influence, but no authority. I answer to a board of directors, and I have hundreds of members, but I'm not the boss of any of them. The only leg I stand on is influence. And influence for me has grown as I have demonstrated certain behaviors, such as the principles I just shared with you. And in addition to that, just treating everyone with honor, dignity, and respect. I didn't really know where all this was going to lead when I started it for sure, but I will say that in my current role, a lot of people are depending on me. They come to me for help. And it's so vitally important that I have developed authentic and trusting relationships with them. Otherwise, I just would not be able to do my job. And I credit so much of that to my prior experience at my accidental job. It's just remarkable. In closing, I'd like to kind of wrap up by saying, there's a saying, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. I find myself in pursuit of that relentlessly. In fact, in my current job, that's my role. I help people grow their good name. Growing your good name requires relationships of trust and authenticity, and that is fed by some of these three principles I've shared with you. Demonstrating grace under pressure with other people, being empathetic to what may be going on in their lives and just shake it off, and keeping the main thing the main thing. It's so vitally important. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me today, and I challenge you to develop these 3 principles that I've shared with you, because I think you'll find them very beneficial. Thank you very much.